greatest football podcast in the world.
Unbelievable stuff here, Jeff. I'm telling you now.
World Cup Willie, Euro 2012.
Welcome to episode 3 of the World Cup Willie Euro 2012 podcast. We haven't done one for about a week, missing quite a few fixtures, but today we'll try and cover all bases and discuss all the groups, talk about what our favourite moments from each group have been and previewing the quarterfinals and saying who we think is going to be occupying the last 4 and maybe even predict an eventual winner and see where we went wrong. Without further ado, we'll go over, look at Group A, see if we got it right, what we thought, and how any team surprised us. Namely Greece, I'm going to imagine that's going to end up. But so Group A, Tom.
Group A finished Czech Republic, Greece, Russia and Poland. I think we all expected that. Yeah?
Did we not expect Russia to go through?
No, Russia aren't even that good.
I thought Russia would win that group quite easily.
I think that is the big shock.
I think we all expected Greece to get through. No, maybe win. Yeah, no one expected.
Well, Craig said it.
No one expected that. It was always going to be a toss-up for second place between Czech Republic, Greece and Poland. And it turns out Russia haven't got a bottle.
So how Greece made that through after their first performance, the first game, and the first half, I thought they were going to get rolled over every game, but seemed to turn it round.
Their second game they played against Czech Republic were 2-0 down after 10 minutes. They pulled it back to 2-1 and they looked like they might have got another. They seem to do well coming from behind, and then they beat Russia. How does that work, though? How can Greece be so bad and still get through?
Because they won. They got more points. They did better than 2 teams in their group. I don't know how they beat Russia. I didn't watch that game. I watched the Poland-Czech Republic game.
Yeah.
Because they moved 2 games at the same time for the last set group. But I don't know how Greece won that game. I mean, on paper that looked like an absolute banker for Russia.
I don't think anyone sees them going any further either.
They got Germany.
Yeah, I don't fancy that one.
Czech Republic won the group. They beat Poland on the last day to...
That's an even more remarkable turnaround because they lost 4-1 in their first game.
Yeah, to turn that round is pretty...
To a team that's not even through.
Just reiterates that this tournament has been so unpredictable. It's been fantastic. Love it. They got Portugal. We'll talk about the quarters a bit later. Yeah, so what's that? Group B.
There's a lot of time on Group A there.
A lot of time on Group A.
So it shows what group that was.
I think it's such lacking in quality. Neither team's going to go any further, I'd imagine.
I don't think they will, if I'm honest. But
3 minutes and we're moving on to Group B already.
Yeah. Group B is
Germany.
Wow, I said in the first podcast I didn't see him getting 9 points. I was wrong. They sort of... Although, with that being said, if Portugal weren't so conservative in the first game, they'd have got something out of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Germany just seemed to be a class above the other 3 teams in that group.
They do look very good.
I think it was more of a fact that the other 3 teams in the group were just a bit inconsistent. Denmark did pretty well in their first game, but couldn't hold on in the
I
second.
don't think Denmark were ever... It's easy to say in hindsight, but I don't think they were ever really a threat to go through.
I fancied them to pick up a few points, which they did, but I didn't fancy them to go qualify.
Well, they beat a Holland side, which in terms of major tournament failures, this is surely, for a big nation in football in terms, has got to rank up there with France 2002. I
fancied Holland to win it. I said it in the first podcast. I fancied them to win it.
And I think everyone fancies them to get a point.
At least.
To see them go home with no points and only, I think, 1 goal, 2 goals even.
Yeah, but credit where credit's due. Denmark managed to stifle... Well, they didn't stifle their attack. They're just useless up top. Then Portugal managed to only concede 1 against them. Germany won again.
For the strike force they've got, that is just ridiculous, I think.
It was really infuriating watching Holland though, because at times, a lot of times during the games, it just looked like a lot of their key players just
weren't up.
They didn't really care. Like Van Persie never seemed too bothered when he missed a chance. Robben had, even for Robben, looked like he didn't care, and Robben in general doesn't usually look like he cares when he plays for his club, so that was on a different level. Even players like Schneider didn't look like he was overly concerned when they were chasing games and needing points.
The only player who looked like he wanted to get through was Van der Vaart, and he only played the last game. He started the last game, so
Scored a good goal as well.
It's fantastic.
Lovely goal.
Second in that group was Portugal.
And finally, thank God, Ronaldo shut a few people up.
That just annoys me where people judge a player's performance on a couple of games.
It's not as if he even had a terrible performance in those 2 games. It's just that he didn't score, and everyone jumped on that.
I think everyone's expecting to, because of his performance over the season, they expect goals from him.
But he's not surely playing with Real Madrid. That he's playing. I know Portugal aren't a bad side, but he's surely playing with a lot better players at Real Madrid than he is at Portugal.
Obviously,
yeah, definitely.
This isn't one of the great Portugal teams.
Yeah, so their midfield they're combative and they do a job, but it's not as if he's playing in a Portugal side with Deco, Rui Costa, and Luis Figo. He's got a few decent midfielders who but he really is the heart and soul of the team, and their only driving force to if they're going to win the tournament, they won't win it unless he's at his best. But to assume I heard someone say he was a bottler at big tournaments. He's scored in every tournament he's ever played in.
It's a bit harsh. It is a bit harsh.
It's a good time to start scoring now, like he did.
It was a good performance as well. It was a very good performance.
He could have had 4 in that game.
He can start turning it on now. Portugal could do well.
And in my opinion, the most underrated player at this tournament so far, Raul Morales. Absolutely, he's just dominating.
He does a job in there.
He's dominating the midfield in every game they play.
Well, their midfield 3, they played 2 wings. Their midfield 3 is actually really decent. Like you said, it's really decent. And Moutinho and Veloso.
Yeah, they're all doing a job. I mean, Morales is the old head, the experience, if you like, and he's really, a driving force and an example to the 2 players.
I think he is quite an underrated player. I think
definitely.
He did well at Chelsea, I thought, but obviously a lot of people don't.
I'm watching Portugal. I don't understand how they carry on picking, what's his name? The striker.
Or how to Postiga.
Yeah.
Well, just as Tottenham fans.
He's useless.
There's surely, the young kid Nelson Oliveira coming off the bench would be a feasible option.
They could throw Ronaldo up top and put that Valera on the right. Because he looked pretty good. He'd come on off the bench in the first 2 games and looked really dangerous. He scored the goal in the second game to win him the game.
Well, Postiga just looks scared to score goals. He's just the most unconvincing attacker in front of goal. He's sort of Emil Heskey about the hold-up play, it seems.
Yeah, and the talent.
Heskey was the hold player, isn't that all he did?
Yeah, so that's when you're lacking something.
Let's talk about Denmark. I think we've got to give Denmark a little bit of time, because they did win their first game.
They did alright.
And they almost got a point off Portugal.
And they almost got a point off, they got an equaliser against Germany.
Seeing as we were pretty dismissive of them in the first podcast, I'd say they silenced a few critics.
Yeah, they did very well. But at the same time, there's not really. I mean, they won against Holland.
I think that was down to Holland.
But,
awful finish.
But let's be honest, if Holland were at the races that day, that would have been 5 or 6-1 maybe.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then we're not talking about Denmark. Then we're talking about Holland just bottling it against 2 teams rather than 3.
I think if they won the first game, they would have probably gone on to at least qualify.
You never know.
Oh well. Or Denmark, eh?
Did alright. It's a building block for them at least.
Something to work from. Group C: Spain, Italy, Croatia, Ireland.
Oh yeah. Poor Ireland.
Don't think they turned up, did they?
If ever there was to describe a team just making up the numbers at a tournament.
I think it's just a tough group for them.
It was a tough group, and to be fair, that third game against Italy, if they played like that in the other 2 games, like they did in the first half there, they probably would not have gone home with no points.
Yeah.
Because for the first 35 minutes, they just completely dominated against Italy. And then as soon as Italy scored, which was the response to a hideous Shea given error for a shot that was right at him.
He's been a bit poor in the entire tournament.
Yeah. And now it looks like there's going to be an exodus of international retirements for him.
Well, they've got an entire roster of 35-year-olds.
Roster.
We're going to use that now.
Are we going to use that?
Yeah. They've got a horde of 35.
We're appealing to a worldwide audience now, aren't we? Yeah, so I'd expect to see Damien Duff probably hang the boots up now after 100 caps for Ireland, and wouldn't be surprised if Robbie Keane did as well, and a bunch of other of the more experienced heads, and maybe usher in a new, younger generation for Ireland and try and build on their first qualification in 10 years.
I think we've got to give a little mention to their amazing fans. I think they do.
Yeah, I can't see a lot of teams go to a tournament expecting no points and sing the way they did.
Not that brilliantness, but at the same time, it's easy to be brilliant when you've not been to a tournament for 10 years.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you're not. I mean, I know they probably would have been brilliant if they qualified for every tournament, but the expectancy levels probably aren't there for they are for a big nation as well.
Yeah,
and it really winded me up. Did you hear Roy Keane's comments?
yeah.
Literally, he's made a very valid point that for the players to just keep talking about the fans rather than ignoring the fact that they've lost 3 games or at that point lost 2 games, and they just say, "Oh no, but the fans are brilliant. The fans are brilliant." He was like, "The fans are brilliant, but surely you shouldn't be talking about that. You should be talking about what you can do to beat Italy and how you can win a game and give them actually something to cheer about rather than amusing themselves in the crowd."
Yeah.
And then he seems to get a lot of stick for that, whereas he's kind of just said what a lot of people are thinking.
Well, Trapattoni responded by saying surely he should focus on his results as a coach rather than focusing on our results. He's a pundit now, so it's his job.
Pundit.
He's the pundit on ITV at the minute.
He's running the show.
Adrian Charles, isn't he?
God forbid they give Adrian Charles.
Have you noticed on ITV, like when they're doing punditry, like last night was it Gareth Southgate, Roy Keane and
Carragher, yeah.
Carragher, every time any of them made a point, they all look at Roy Keane for his non-approval. They're all so scared of him.
He's a scary man though. I'm sat in my living room and I'm scared of him.
He's so angry all the time. When was Adrian Charles said something, he just said, "Relax yourself." And then Adrian Charles relaxed. He's a head case. You think he's just going to kick off at any moment.
What about Spain in that group? How
Spain.
you seen them go far?
Probably.
I thought they did the job, didn't they?
They didn't. They weren't like vintage Spain.
They did what they had to do.
But they're through, so they probably take that.
They didn't look like Spain in the World Cup either, but still won the
got
tournament.
better.
Yeah, but they did improve as the knockout stages go on, so maybe they will again.
And they've, yeah.
Although it's obviously Del Boss might not agree, but I think if you're going to play France, and then I don't know if they're having the semi-finals, Portugal, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it'd be Portugal.
And you're probably going to have to play a striker.
Maybe.
I'm going to pitch the idea to him that maybe if you play a striker, you will be more clinical in front of goal. Because if you take out the Ireland game, where Ireland were just completely useless and completely outclassed in that game against Spain,
They did start a striker against Ireland.
and won 4-0.
Yeah. Well, there we go, the records there.
That kind of proved my point. But in the other 2 games, they kind of laboured through both of them. Like Italy, they could very easily have lost that game when they went 1-0 down.
Yeah.
If Italy, I know it's a hypothetical, but if that goal doesn't come almost as an instant response and that game goes on, Italy get more defensive. You never know if they can close that out. And Croatia, they needed a goal in the last minute.
Croatia could have
had to attack.
easily had a couple of goals
exactly.
against Spain. There's a couple of headers, I think.
Well, it's a setup by one of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Spain-Croatia. I was watching the Ireland game.
They easily got a couple of goals in that.
Well, there was one, Modric, who was fantastic in that game.
He played very well.
He's unbelievable.
Pulling the strings.
He put this ball across against Rakitic, who was at the back post, and all he had to do was go for the far corner. Easier said than done, obviously, when the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
But he just headed it straight at Casillas.
Yeah, he should have scored that.
What now for Croatia? Can you see them? I don't know who they've got in their World Cup.
They're in Wales' World Cup route. It's Croatia, Serbia, Belgium, Scotland, Wales and Macedonia.
You'd expect them to win.
As you said, Adam, if they were in Group A, they would have won the
Yeah,
group
they'd have won the group.
easily.
I'd probably say the same for... In fact, I'd almost make the claim every team that comes second in their group, obviously other than Group A, and Croatia and Denmark would have won Group A. And Holland.
Shows the quality.
Which, yeah, exactly. It's a very deep tournament this year. There's better teams in Europe now than I think there may have ever been.
Yeah,
They're
that's
extending
true.
it for the next tournament, aren't they? As well? More
That's
teams.
going to be.
teams.
I think that's a mistake for footballing excitement, at least for the fans watching.
But then if I'm talking from a point where I want to see Wales in a major tournament, I'm thinking that's a brilliant bit of news.
Still can't see it, Adam.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's more likely now because Europe only gets 16 for the World Cup.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 8 more chances, and Wales are up above Ukraine in the world ranking, so I don't know if you knew that. They're 38th now.
But at the same time, yeah, we're getting an extra week of football, but there's going to be
some deadwood.
There's going to be another group like Group A.
But how's it going to work? Like, what's it going to be 4 groups of 6?
Oh, I'd imagine it'd be 6 groups of. Hang on.
But if it's 6 groups of 4, that's just 6 winners and the 2 best runners up going through.
Oh.
It's a flawed system from you. Because even if it's like 4 groups of 6, that's 2 from 6 going through.
I'm confused. We'll have to figure it out. I can't figure it out.
Sepp Blatter's probably not made it up yet. He's probably thinking it up as he goes along.
Yeah.
He's probably going to put 27 teams in and have like wild cards going through and buys and things like that.
We'll host it in Australia or something.
Yeah. Euro 2018 in Canada, I don't
know.
There wouldn't be a Euro 2018 one, I don't know.
The other team, Italy were the one who qualified. They look good.
It was right.
A lot more attacking than they used to be, aren't they?
Yeah, I think I did mention that, like, the Italy defence has gone. There's no, like, Italy aren't a defensive team anymore. They're full of attacking, like, flair and options.
Yeah.
And, like, I think their game against Croatia, where they drew their first 2 games, didn't they? But against Spain, you'd have thought, good point. After they drew against Croatia, Italy teams should have passed, except the 2006 one, but that was an outlier. May have folded for this last game and gone into a shell.
Yeah.
But in their defence, they were equal to the task and brushed Ireland aside pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah, that's true. Italy are pretty good.
They're doing alright, and they've got
they're always a decent side.
Yeah, you're never going to find an Italy team that are easy to beat. It's just Italy's
last World Cup.
Yeah, they didn't lose very many, did they?
Well, they did lose.
I remember Euro 2008, they got knocked out, but they drew all 3 games.
They got to the knockout. I think they lost to Spain on penalties in 2008. France were the ones who didn't get through.
Which is a tournament where... No, it was the World Cup. They must have. I remember a tournament where Slovakia or Sweden, one of them had to draw 2-2 with a team they were playing, and it meant Italy couldn't go through. And Italy got 3 points and drew every game. I don't know what there was a tournament where that happened. I'll look that up. Right. And I'll bring it up next week because it did happen.
Fair enough. Group D. This is the one that people care about. England, France...
We should have worked in reverse, really.
Yeah, probably. England, France, Ukraine, Sweden.
It's a poor group. The standard of quality in this... England have done well. They've got 7 points.
Yeah.
But they didn't play very well. They did a job against France, but they didn't play overly brilliant.
And we didn't have to play overly brilliant.
I think we kept them at arm's length.
Okay, for 20 minutes against Sweden, it just blew up completely.
That game against Sweden was, for people going mental over it, saying we could win the tournament on the back of that game. We weren't even that good.
No, I think it was the resilience that got people. Because that's the first time you ever watch it. Yeah, you ever watch England play and they go 2-1 down.
Under Capello, I can see it.
You think they fold, but at that game, at no point, this is me speaking from a point of view, I never thought they were going to lose the game. I always thought they were going to win the game, even when they went 2-1 down.
3 good goals as well.
Yeah.
All decent finishes.
Hmm.
The goalie got caught out a bit for Walcott's goal.
Yeah.
I watched the replay, it was moving all over the place.
England haven't played brilliant across this group, but maybe that's a sign of a good team that you don't have to play well and you've still comfortably got through.
I think they defended well.
We looked decent at the back. I mean, Hearts look a bit dodgy at times.
First half of the Ukraine game, I didn't think they did. I think was it Yarmolenko on the right wing?
Yeah, he's good. He's their best player by arm's length.
Yeah, but then at the same time, times throughout that first half, he was dancing through 3 or 4 defenders.
Yeah.
And I don't care how good any player is. Once you shouldn't get through that many defenders at any point, really.
But at the same time, they weren't scoring.
But they were having gold opportunities.
They weren't scoring, man.
You got to think
that was a decent. Yeah, it's irrelevant if they're not scoring. If you're going to give them that chance, if you give Italy that chance, Balotelli's not going to miss that.
Yeah, well, he might because he's an idiot, but
depends what day it is.
That's blasphemy. Balotelli's a legend.
France. We a lot of people expected us to finish second to France, and maybe even lose the first game.
I thought France could win the tournament. I don't now. They were awful.
I mean, they looked decent in the first game.
Yeah, they
were right in the second game.
They had a lot of possession in the first game. I don't think they looked brilliant.
They were making chances, but they were all from outside the box.
I wasn't ever really that worried.
They weren't very they passed the ball around nicely, which is patient. But when they got to the final third, they had no patience to try and work an opening.
Yeah,
and then against Ukraine, they just played a very poor team. They were playing very poor.
Yeah,
and then they lost to Sweden.
At the same time, they've still got quality players who can win games.
They've got to turn up though, haven't they?
Yeah, they have to be at their absolute best.
They got Karim Benzema, who's probably one of the best strikers in the world. If he turns up against Spain, he could cause Spain a lot of problems.
He could, but if they don't turn up against Spain, they'll be going home, won't they?
Steamrolled.
Word on Sweden. Do they deserve to finish bottom?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They lost to Ukraine. For England, the talking points really have been about who's been starting and who's been on the bench. Many people glad to see Rooney come back in, but a few against that decision to see him come back in for the Ukraine game. Obviously paid dividends in the end with the goal, but he didn't look out the races for the first half. I think we discussed this yesterday, Tom. We put it down to the fact he was probably a bit rusty from not having played for 37 days.
There was a couple of dodgy touches, but if he'd have, any other game, he would have got that touch right and he would have set up an attack. I think if he gets it right, England will play well.
I'd say a Wayne Rooney of the past, coming back from maybe an injury after a while out, it always looks a bit as if he's trying to stay away from them. He's always in that game yesterday, he's always looking to try and get in positions where he could get the ball and pass it through. He looked like he wanted the ball a lot more than he has done in the past.
Oh yeah, because we were discussing this yesterday about how Wayne Rooney really had a point to prove. Earlier we were talking about Ronaldo and how people, talk about how he doesn't turn up at the big tournaments, which again isn't true. But Wayne Rooney, since he burst on the scene in 2004 and had that really good Euro 2004, has not turned up at major tournaments for the two he's been back for England. He's not turned up at all, and I don't think enough's been made of that, considering how he's meant to be England's prime player.
I think there was that problem of anger though, wasn't there? There's a little anger problem, which I think he's got over now.
Well, that cost England 2006, his anger.
Well, he only picked up one yellow card last season, which I think
I heard that,
That's almost
I think he hasn't matured a lot, I think.
It's probably not a time for it on this international podcast, but he'd have got a lot more if he didn't play for Man United.
On this, but if he was still playing,
can we not get into that?
Yeah, we won't get into that
now. Let's talk about the game yesterday. I'm just going to do a little bit of detail there. The first major talking point in the game itself was, I think it was probably Gerrard had put a ball in, and Rooney
should have scored.
Spooned it wide.
Should have scored, definitely.
Gerrard's on a different level at the minute.
Unbelievable yesterday.
His delivery is amazing.
It is 7 years ago, and he is playing every game like it's that Champions League final second half for Liverpool.
He always puts it on the money. Every ball is always in a decent area.
It's difficult for me to say because I hate the man, but he's been fantastic. I think he's been head and shoulders our best player.
Well, it's not even close.
Unbelievable.
Him and Welbeck, although Welbeck wasn't as good as he has been yesterday.
No.
But over the first two games, him and Welbeck were just so far apart from everyone else.
Yeah. It's almost as if he's dragged us through the group.
Well, pretty much every goal comes from him.
Well, he made all three goals. He's made three. He's got 3 assists over 3 games.
But then it's not even that. It's the way he defends and he charges down loose balls and charges down wingers running. He's 30. Was he 31, 32?
Something like that.
And he's chasing 25-year-olds over the pitch, and he's had 107 knee surgeries, and he's catching them up off the pitch.
And he missed half of last season.
You just don't recognise it. At times last season, you were thinking, "Oh, he's done. He's never going to get back to what he is." And now he's arguably as good as he's ever been.
The only thing I find a shame about him, a few years ago, he'd have the confidence to have a pop from the edge of the area, which would fly top corner, which he doesn't do now. It might be better, but I'd like to see him have a few shots.
He's not getting in.
It's not a dig. This ain't a dig. But,
Also, would you think that maybe losing Frank Lampard's been a blessing in disguise? Does he bring up the Gerrard and Lampard thing again?
Yeah, he's playing alongside Scott Parker.
He's probably the easiest midfielder in the world to play alongside because he's got no interest in attacking.
Parker will defend to the death.
Yeah.
The amount of, as you were
I've
saying
never
earlier,
seen a guy blocks him and he shot. It's ridiculous.
taking full shots to the face and just wiping them off.
Well, at one point there was a guy dribbling. I think it was like Yarmolenko was dribbling in the area.
He tried to
Apart
put
from
his head
tried to tackle him with his head.
He does do a lot of defensive work. He does seem to be a bit of a nut.
You've got to have a player like that in your team,
Yeah,
though.
I think, yeah.
And look at Holland. Nigel de Jong was a crucial part of their World Cup final team, and he's probably from the same ilk, probably a dirtier
Trying to take Alonso's
version,
head off.
but it's the same kind of combative midfielder every team
It's
needs.
not about the glory for him, is it?
Yeah,
It's about
exactly.
doing a job for the team.
He definitely does that.
Yeah.
Our goal came from a cross from Gerrard from the right hand side. Took about 5 deflections.
It's
Lang-
Goalie had a bit of a...
goalie.
Shocker.
Goalkeeper's been rubbish all tournament.
Yeah, so goalie's got to take that, misses it, Rooney puts it in. I think we'd
Job
have
done.
we'd have
There you
scored
go.
that.
Yeah,
I might be the
I saw a replay, it looked like he put so much effort into it, concentration as well, licking his lips and everything.
But it's efficient. The job's done. I think at times England looked shaky in that game defensively. Bar Jody and Lescott, who's just as a footballer has just improved so much that I don't think anyone ever expected it.
when he played at Everton, I mean, I can't believe that he used to play for Everton. He was pretty bad when he played.
But if at Everton, what was he in Everton about 5 years ago? If 5 years ago someone turned around to you and said, "Oh, in 5 years, Jody and Lescott's going to be starting for England at a major tournament and just come off the back of being a starter at a team that's just won the Premier League,"
Yeah.
you'd laugh and say, "Get out."
Would you
and
say now,
send them to a
looking-
mental asylum?
Looking at his performances, would you say now that you'd rather have him over Cahill than Ferdinand?
I'd rather have him over Terry. Literally,
Yeah, I think he's-
if I was picking any centre back for England now,
It'd be
Lescott
Lescott, he's been very
it would be Lescott and Cahill, but Lescott would be first on the team sheet.
Absolutely. A lot's been made about the goal that wasn't a goal, mainly by the Ukrainian manager, who went a bit mad at the end of the game.
He's not happy.
He's looking to fight
To
Germany.
be fair, you wouldn't be happy though, would you?
No, I wouldn't be happy, but he was offside, so it didn't matter.
Well, it does matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, because once the offside's not given,
Yeah, but
The
goal
guy's
wasn't
got,
given.
yeah. the
no,
guy-
but once the offside's not given, that's irrelevant.
The goal wasn't given, so it's irrelevant.
Well, no,
I'm sorry,
because
but
the offside's not given, and offside's not being talked about replay. There's no talk about being replay for offside.
yeah,
So the linesman's missed that. So that renders the offside claim completely pointless. And the ball goes over the line, and it's obviously we all agree it's gone in, right?
yeah, it's gone in.
Now, that's where the contentious issue is, because there should be replay there already, and Sepp Blatter, they said there should be. That's not a coincidence at all, we all know that. But it also means that them officials behind the goal are completely pointless. He's
what are
standing
they
there
doing?
looking at it. If you can't get that right, and you're not giving corners and goal kicks, there's literally no point of you.
He stood right behind the post as well, like looking at it behind the post. Why don't you just move? and have a
The
look?
main job of those silly men behind the goal, though, is for box decision. I know it's sort
They
of
look like wizards for that
umbrellas
thing.
the goal line decision, but they're mainly there to make sure penalty decisions are right.
Yeah, but they don't
Even
make
though
it.
they're always
They
wrong.
don't make anything. They don't. Surely it would be easier not to pay these two officials. Just don't have them.
Yeah.
With the fourth official, say, "Oh, I think that's been a goal." When it goes out of play, we'll just go and get the fourth official to look at a monitor. There's a monitor
The problem there
inside,
you've got is
just in the
restarting a
dugout.
game. How do you restart a game?
Well, if it's a goal,
Yeah,
you
obviously
give
you
it to
give
the
a goal,
centre,
yeah, but
and if it's not a goal,
carry on from the throw or wherever.
yeah,
it's gone
you just
out.
play till it next goes out. And then it takes about 15 seconds to realise whether that's going in. On the first replay, you knew that went in.
Yeah, yeah. But what if someone scores in that time it takes to come out?
Well, alright, as soon as it's gone in, then go and check.
Yeah.
And then if it hasn't gone in, you give the England
Drop
goalkeeper the
ball
ball
or
back.
The one they're looking at is I think it's Hawkeye. Basically, he's got a little thing on his watch.
They're using tennis, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got this thing on his watch where it basically flashes up if it's a goal or not. It just seems like a bit of a waste of money since
Wouldn't it be
everyone's got Sky these
Wouldn't
days,
it be easier if like
Use a TV.
yeah, you either use the TV or apply like an ice hockey system where as soon as it touches the net or
Beeps,
goes
doesn't
over
it?
the line, a siren goes off or something. Obviously, don't have a siren because in a football stadium that'd be really annoying. But have like a light that flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something that indicates to the ref.
Yeah,
like you said.
or even just have someone upstairs watching the game
Just say, yeah, that's
and say
going
that's
in.
gone in. Give that.
And you could do that at every level as well, because even at lower league games, I mean, even when we were watching Oxford in the conference,
They've
had
got
Sky.
TVs, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've got-
yeah.
they've
But
all
even
got
if you
TVs.
don't do it at a lower league game, there's so much on these games now.
Yeah.
Europe, like international football and Champions League football. It just seems like if you've got the technology, it's almost stupid not to use it.
So many camera levels.
Because football's like one of the only sports in the world that hasn't bothered to actually move into this millennium.
Yeah.
Because like cricket's done it, and cricket's meant to be the most traditional game ever, and they've gone to technology. Rugby's using technology. Tennis uses technology.
And rugby, they just stop the game.
Yeah.
Stop the game. Is that a try? Or not?
Yeah. Just find a reasonable way to restart the game if it hasn't gone
all
in,
you've got to do, find
and
a way
then
to restart
just
the
use it, because it's absolutely ridiculous that next it'll be keeping score with a chalkboard and chalk and writing who scored the goal.
There's so much money involved these days. You can't afford to miss a goal.
And it's not like UEFA and FIFA can't afford these systems. How much?
They're getting all the money from fines, aren't they?
Yeah.
So.
How much? The fines.
Oh, that is
Bentner can
ridiculous.
afford it.
I think we should talk about that.
That is ridiculous.
Nicholas Bentner getting fined €100,000 for displaying an advert.
Croatia get 65 for racism.
I think Porto got 20,000 in.
So that's the priorities straight, isn't it? As long as you can racially abuse whoever you want, just don't advertise it.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely ridiculous. UEFA is like a certifiable joke, I think.
Well, UEFA, FIFA.
All the governing bodies of FIFA are just ridiculous. Governing bodies of football are just a joke.
Yeah. So let's talk about the quarters. We were getting on about, aren't we? Half an hour. My God.
Yeah.
And we've spoken a little about the first two.
Well, if you want, talk about. Is there any games that have pulled your interest in the group? You call your favourite game from the tournament so far?
Being an English fan, it's got to be having the passion to come back from being 2-1 down against Sweden. I was at the pub that time.
Yeah,
I loved it. It's good to watch when it's your country. But I don't know how anyone else saw it. It was a good game.
I don't think there's another. I can't imagine there's another nation in the world who can go to a pub to watch a game of football and have the same atmosphere that would be in the stadium. Yeah. I mean, I've never watched France in France, but that was pretty good.
I think for me,
pretty awesome. I think
for me, the best moment of the group's been all three Poland games.
Poland have just put themselves on the line, haven't they?
Because the Poland crowd has just been magnificent, and then you compare it to the Ukraine crowd last night, which was
they could have pulled their team.
They didn't raise the team at all, and they just quiet the whole. If that was in Poland, you don't even need to realise when Poland played that third game, that crowd was deafening.
Yeah,
and even when Czech Republic scored, they were still right behind the team. But so for me, the lasting memory will be how much Poland supported their team, and in the end, I really wanted them to go through.
Yeah, so did I. So did I.
So, do you want to get some predictions in for the quarterfinals then before we sign this off?
Yeah, Czech Republic, Portugal.
I'm going Portugal.
I reckon we're going to go for a score.
Okay, 2-0 Portugal.
I'm going to go 3-0 Portugal.
I'm going to make a bold statement to say Czech Republic.
Okay.
1-0.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Greece, Germany.
Germany.
3-0 Germany.
Well, you've got to say Greece have got to win that one, haven't you?
Fancy them.
I'll go 2-0 Germany.
I don't think there's anyone, even the Greece fans, that fancy Greece to win that one.
Well, they're all going off the back. Oh, we might do it like we did in 2004.
That'll never happen again.
Can't see it.
No country will. Well, obviously a country will do it again, but it took 12 years to go from Denmark to Greece, so it's not going to happen 2 tournaments that year.
Nah. Germany win, maybe 4-0. Maybe absolutely batter them.
I'll give them a chance and say 2.
Spain, France, which is probably the standout fixture of the 4.
What do you reckon?
I imagine Spain will win it, but I can see France getting something. I'll win. I don't know.
I think we all fancy Spain to win it, but France could easily win it.
France haven't hit the top gear yet.
I'm going to say 1-0 and France win on penalties.
That'd be interesting.
Spain haven't looked themselves.
Well, I don't think France will look themselves.
No, exactly, but surely you're hoping, if you're a French fan, nothing to lose.
Well, yeah.
Spain, everything's on Spain. Spain have won the last 2 tournaments. It's all on them to keep going.
Well,
I'm saying France. It's been a tournament where the big teams have been susceptible to losing. I'm not saying like France or even minnow of any sort, but yeah, I think France are going to pull it off. France will win that game.
Yeah, Spain are definitely a bigger footballing nation than France is. So in terms of this game, they're a minnow. A little bit.
Well, is Spain a bigger football nation than France? Lately they've been a more successful nation.
In terms of quality in the team, they've got players on the bench who could walk in the French.
Yeah, now, but over the years, it's neither team. They're both massive footballing nations. England, Italy.
I want to say England win, and I don't know. I've got this
I
feeling.
think England are going to win.
Yeah,
personally.
1-0 England. England will win that game.
I keep thinking France will beat Spain and we'll lose to Italy, and then we'll all moan that we didn't finish second.
No,
I don't think you can moan about finishing second.
England will beat Italy. I'm pretty much convinced about that one. In fact, even though it's like probably the hardest one to predict, bar Germany and Greece, that's the game I feel like my prediction most comfortable in. I just think England's a good matchup for Italy.
I think we're as good as Italy at the moment. I just don't think.
I think both teams are as good as each other, but I think England, because if England played Spain and they've got to run around all day and chase the ball, it's difficult. Italy defensively, I think will get found out a little bit here because hopefully England, do use the wingers, the
I think
pace.
someone's got to annoy Balotelli.
And defensive England, I think England are holding up everyone that could potentially just stifle Italy completely.
Balotelli could very much be Italy's Wayne Rooney of 2006. If we can get somebody who can annoy him a little bit, like you were just saying. We got Lescott to say something maybe. Get him sent off.
Not say something, just annoy him in
Get him sent
terms.
Well, Balotelli could win the game on his own,
He could, yeah.
but he could lose the game on his own as
Exactly.
well.
I'm going to say England win extra time.
I want to say England win.
And Andy
90
Carroll
minutes.
scores the winner.
So that would leave England, Germany, Portugal, France,
And we'll discuss those games next week.
when they'll no doubtably be wrong.
Probably.
And it'll be Italy,
Czech Republic, Greece.
Portugal, Czech Republic, Greece or something, yeah.
We try and get Josh back into the next one.
I don't know
I
what
can't
he's
see
playing
it.
at.
What is he at?
He's-
Who works?
He came into the club on Friday and said, "Why are you recording the podcast without me? You're at work. When can you work next week? When are you off next week? I haven't got any days off next week." So, good one, Josh.
But it's up,
Good
now.
one, mate. Hang on. Before we finish this,
Before we
I want to
finish.
say thank you to everyone who's downloaded our podcast.
When we get up to 20th?
We got up to number 20 in the iTunes chart.
20 so take into account that we're just 3 people from I would say a little village, but it is a village.
We're in Adam's living room.
In my living room, recording on a laptop, with Sky Sports News in the background, and we've managed to get up to 20th in the world, above things like TalkSport, ITV, The Guardian, and all these American ESPN ones that are meant to be wildly popular. And we're above all of them.
If anyone wants my autograph,
Follow us all on Twitter.
yes.
Let's
do
push that. At Willo290592.
At ABrown31.
At Craig Y246.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter. We'll keep you updated about the goings on of this podcast. And, we're quite fun. we can tweet some quite
We're
funny
happy.
stuff.
We're happy.
So, give us a try. You've enjoyed the podcast, I've taken it, I hope. So, we'll keep doing our best and keep downloading, and we really appreciate it.
If anyone wants to pick us up and take us on a permanent basis, I would be happy to do that.
That's a message to all British newspapers.
Yes, if the Daily Mirror wants to pick us up and do a weekly podcast, email willcutwillie2012@gmail.com.
Do it.
And we'll see you next week with Josh, possibly.
Hopefully.
I doubt it.
Maybe.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So,